football, aka downtown Nino Brown. Yes, sir.
Welcome back to CFB Nation. I'm your host, Nino Brown. It's another marvelous episode of Overreaction Monday. The governor needed a good, day off. Needs to rest, relax. Nah, he's got a whole project going on at State Viewings today, so he's busy. So I'm the mayor of college football. I got the senator of college football of CFB Nation, my man, Mr. Get It Done, a.k.a. Dino. And you may not recognize him. He's back. Look at him, clean and crisp. Mr. Horns Down himself, Jared Gray. Fellas, how we doing tonight?
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean it's another day of football, so can't complain.
It's been a wild season so far. 10 weeks of wild nonsense in our college football. We're gonna hop in a rapid fire gauntlet here. I think this one's gonna be pretty spicy. Give me your answer in 10 words or less, okay? I'm going to start out with D now, right off the rip. Texas Tech upsets number 11 Iowa State. Is the Big 12 wide open?
It's still open for Colorado,
like
I said.
I love it. I love it. Throw them shots, baby. I love it. Next up, Boomer. Number 5 Miami defeats Duke 53-31. Cam Ward wants a word.
Listen, I mean, he deserves an award. He's the guy. I mean, top 3 Heisman, my opinion.
I'm glad people are coming around on the train here. I love it. All right, number 3, Dino. Number 2, Georgia defeats Florida 34-20. DJ Lagway. Oof.
Yeah, so I didn't actually see the injury, but seeing how it was 20-20 pretty late in the game, I mean, the third stringer's not that bad, or either he's not that bad or Georgia's not as good as we thought.
Shots fired. Okay. Boom, are you ready? Navy loses to Rice 24-10. Rice gives interim head coach Pete Alomar a debut W. Boom, what happened?
The middies were very mid last 2 weeks. That's all I got. I mean, it's rough.
Is Horvath hurt?
Yeah.
He didn't play this week, right? No. They needed it. But all right. Dino. Minnesota defeats number 24 Illinois 25-17. That's 3 losses in 5 weeks. Yikes. Seems like they're suspect, like I called out a while back.
Yeah, this is for our guy Jalen. Illinois is overrated.
Ooh, sorry, buddy. I'm
Had to
I'm
do
on
it.
the train.
Had to
I'm
do
on
it.
the train
Sorry.
with you, buddy. They shot everything early, and now it's all
Since
downhill.
that one miss snap against Penn State, just
Done.
down.
All over. Boomer. Louisiana goes 7-1 overall with a 23-17 victory over Texas State. Are they the clear-cut Sun Belt favorite right now?
Remember, way back when we were doing our Sun Belt series, we said the team to watch might be Louisiana. The answer is 100% yes.
Hey, they're coming out of nowhere. I love Woodridge. I think that dude is legitimate. All right.
Sure.
Dino. We spoke about it a little bit in the green room. Toledo, in controversial fashion, defeats Eastern Michigan 29-28 to end the game in a wild set. Talk to me about this one.
Yeah, I'm going to say first as a Toledo alum, Eastern Michigan lost this game. Toledo did not win it. When you're up multiple scores that late in the game, you should not lose it. I was on the edge of my seat, though, because that Hail Mary, I was like, oh, God, we're going to choke right here. But Rockets held through.
Knocked down that 2-point conversion, right? Thank God. Boom. UCF. Now, Arizona was, I think, an overall favorite for everybody here at CFB Nation this year. But UCF dog walks Arizona 56-12 at the FBC Morgan Stadium with freshman quarterback Dylan Risk at the helm. What?
Hey, listen, they went risky on this one. That's all I got. We all thought Arizona would be better than they were, especially after they beat the brakes off Oklahoma. So they're not who we thought they were.
No, it's risky business going on over there.
Risky business.
All right, closing out rapid fire. It's for both you guys. Dean out first, then Jared. Heisman, top 3, go.
All right, so I got Dylan Gabriel, Ashton Genty, Cam Ward, and it's like a 3A, 3B, but this isn't in order. I'm going to throw that caveat out there. Caleb Johnson.
Boom, go.
I don't, unless I'm going with the betting here. I got Janty as number 1. I got Cam Ward as number 2, even though people don't believe it. And I got Hunter at 3.
I got Cam Ward 1, Hunter 2, Genty 3. People will hate me on it.
If I have to put them in order, I'm going to go Cam Ward 1, Dylan Gabriel 2, Genty 3.
Shout out our guy Brian, resident Boise State guy.
Genty's not winning the Heisman.
Let's not fire my guy up. We're on good terms after that UNLV game. Me and my guy Brian, we see eye to eye now. We respect each other. It's early in the show. Let's not get them all worked up. All right, let's get to the heart of the show here. Vanderbilt continues to ruin team seasons and play that giant killer role. Diego Pavia and the Commodores went into Jordan-Hare Stadium and defeated Auburn Tigers 17-7. That's Vanderbilt's 3rd SEC victory and 6th overall. We're going bowling. It's a fact. Dino, what were your biggest takeaways from this game? And is there a chance that quarterback Diego Pavia has played himself into possibly being drafted to the NFL?
Drafted wise, I think yes. I think we'll see his name called 6th, 7th round. My takeaways from this is 1, Auburn has really fallen off. They are not the Auburn of old. And I mean, it used to be when you go into Jordan-Hare, it was almost a guaranteed L. And just seeing how bad that program's fallen. Second takeaway, I'm all aboard the Diego hype train. I love what he brings. He's just that fire. It's almost like a Johnny Manziel 2.0.
Yeah.
I hate to throw it out there, but and then looking at their schedule, I'm glad they got to 6 now because I don't see another win.
That's what but we've been saying it every week. I don't think they can do it all.
Yeah,
and they
that's
do
true.
It, and they just seem to somehow find a way.
I mean, they may beat South Carolina, so they may reach 7. But
I don't know.
After that, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll beat South Carolina. I think South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, after this Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, well, they turned the page there. Yeah, I love the Bulldog. Diego Pavia has that Bulldog aspect to him. I could see this dude being like a, 10-year veteran backup quarterback that comes in and wins games for them just because he has that mentality of like, I'm just as good as you. It didn't even get a scholarship to New Mexico State, right? And ended up going back there later on after going the JUCO route and winning the hearts of them. And now look at him. Now he's in the SEC cooking. Boomer, what were your biggest takeaways from this game? And does Clockley start to get a little bit of consideration for Coach of the Year?
Biggest takeaway is, Vanderbilt's team's demanding respect. Look at them after the game. They're basically just chomping, just giving Auburn's players the business after the game. We don't care that we're here. Mm-hmm. You know that we're here. We should have beat Mizzou, right? I mean, let's be real. That Vanderbilt deserves it. They've done what they're supposed to do 100%. Clark Lee deserves consideration 100%. But it's Jeff Munkins to lose.
Yeah.
And that's hard to say. You know what I mean? Navy all the way, but it's
love
to lose.
To add on to Boomer, I love the chip on the shoulder of the entire team for Vandy's playing. I love the linebacker coming out with those 2-year-old receipts. Auburn saying we're not going to give you a scholarship on Christmas at 6 o'clock in the morning. I love all that.
Yeah.
Bro, Diego was in the center of the field, just going nuts. People say with other players trying to talk shit to him. He's like, I didn't hear none from nobody. You guys can go sit down. Like, it don't even matter. We just shut you guys up. We shut your fans up. We did it in your stadium, and we were the underdogs again. I love the story. I wouldn't be surprised if they snuck out 2 more to end the season somehow, some way, and I feel like they have nothing to lose.
Somebody, sleeping on them this week probably because they had a high from last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like they're playing. They got nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like they have nothing to lose. What does it matter? No, everybody automatically thinks they're out of it, right? Like, bro, they could go to. I'm sorry, Nico had his best game of the season. They could go to Tennessee and win that game. Mm-hmm. Like, And
They
maybe
control the
South
clock. You know how it is, man. It's kind of like
any given Saturday, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
that's for sure.
All right, let's get to this next one. Number 18, Pittsburgh got a reality check after getting slapped around by number 20, SMU, 48-15. Kevin Jennings was a game-tied decision and then went off for 300-plus yards and 2 touchdowns at General Ford Stadium. Boomer, what were your biggest takeaways from this game? And how was SMU able to slow down the Panthers, Eli Holston, and Desmond Reed?
Listen, I'm a huge fan of Pittsburgh, but I think they actually had their hangover because they were so high going into the Syracuse games. They were hyping up that game. They were hyping up the quarterback, and then you come off and then, well, you got to play SMU who, hasn't been phenomenal since they got the freaking a long time ago, the death penalty. You overlook him. I mean, that's 100% what happened here. Pittsburgh overlooked him, and Jennings showed out and balled out. That's just what it is.
Dino.
Yeah.
What were your biggest takeaways? And for some reason, I don't really hear much about it. It's starting to pop now, but is Mustangs running back Rashad Smith having himself a Ray Davis type season? 140 attempts, 900 yards, 11 touchdowns, over 6 yards per carry, 22 receptions, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. It seems some of that Ray Davis. I mean, Davis had 20 total touchdowns, but we still got some games left here. This kid's scoring at will.
Yeah. So my biggest takeaway is it's almost like over the last maybe 2.5 weeks, Pittsburgh's kind of lost their identity. That terrible game against Syracuse. And then this week you got
You're saying offensively.
Yeah, offensively.
Yeah.
Eli's thrown 50 pass attempts this week against SMU. That's not Pat Narduzzi's offensive scheme. He's a balanced kind of guy, if not more of a run heavy kind of. And then against SMU, their defense just shut down whatever kind of running attempts Pittsburgh had. And as for Brashard Smith, yeah, he's 100% that back that no one had kind of heard of and is slowly creeping his way towards the front in the nation like Ray Davis did last year.
Mm-hmm.
I love everything about his game. I could see him. Is he? He's an upperclassman, right?
Yeah, I believe he's a senior.
Senior. Yeah. I could see him being a late day 2 off of the type of season he's having.
I'm with you. I think this kid's gonna continue to stack these good games. They're gonna get into the playoff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna see him on the national stage with everybody watching him. Continue to have good games. Then he's gonna go, like we all say, the underwear Olympics, the spandex, surprise, and all of a sudden this kid's gonna blow these guys out of the water. The speed, man, the pull away speed. He's got that burst coming out of the hole, and a lot of people don't even know who he is, but he's doing his thing this year, and I think he's a major factor in that offense because him and Jennings, you have to account for both of them, where they're going to be at any time. This is a question for both of you, okay? Why aren't the Mustangs getting talked about more? Remember, earlier they had a 5-star, Keelan Russell, be committed. He ended up decommitting, right, and leaving to go to Alabama. But why isn't there more hype and the continued success here in stacking these victories? Will they be able to maybe bring back some of these 4- and 5-star guys that they lost earlier?
For me, just if you were to go off these teams that they're playing would have been considered quality teams if they weren't Florida State, who looks like a dumpster fire. And I mean, you beat Louisville, which is phenomenal, right? But you barely beat Duke. Duke was better than we think in general. But Stanford, I expect you to blow them out. But when you're looking at games like TCU and you're winning 66-42, there's small things there. BYU beat you, but obviously BYU's better than we all thought, I think.
Right.
I think because of who they are and where they're at conference-wise, if they were in the Big 12 and, earlier, and if they were in the Big 10 or SEC, we'd be saying, oh, their SMU's great, right? But they're just now getting some recognition because you finally beat those people that you had beaten or barely lost to were better than we thought.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. They aren't getting the love that they deserve because the ACC is down this year. You got Clemson, who lost to the two best teams that they've played. So obviously they're not anywhere playoff wise. Florida State's a garbage this year. Outside of Miami, it's any given week with the ACC. And then even when we thought the ACC may be good, SMU was kind of that middle of the road team for them, behind Florida State, Miami, Clemson, NC State. Even a lot of people pick them in front of them. So I think that's why they're not getting the love that they deserve.
Now we mentioned Florida State, and whatever, and they think, but BYU, I mean, that's a 3-point game. That's probably the closest game that they've had all season. So, if we're gonna put we're gonna give credit for beating Florida State, like I give credit to Boston College beating Florida State week 1 when they were ranked 10 in the country. Then we got to give credit, to SMU for beating BYU. I mean, playing closer with BYU, early on in the season. So it's like they had it. You got to remember, first 3 weeks there was a quarterback controversy. They didn't know who they were playing at the quarterback position. A lot of things going on in that facility. They were able to right the ship. I think, BC, Virginia, Cal, you could be looking at possibly going 11-1. I agree with Brian. I think that they're now, Miami's number one competition for the ACC title here. I mean, Louisville losing one of those games early on in the season kind of screws them. You know what I'm saying? Because now I think they have 2 losses in the ACC at this moment. Mm-hmm. So that kind of kicks them in the butt a little bit there. But I mean, you got to also remember they're traveling cross country for most of these games as well to boot. So in year 1,
they beat Louisville, right?
I'm just saying, like in general, like Louisville's record, they already have 2 losses in the conference. So like True. They're already kind of not automatically, but they're behind the 8 ball behind those two teams to begin with. So, all right.
I think the close game to Duke actually might hurt them. That's really what we're looking at. I mean, it was only a 1-point win, so in overtime.
Yeah, that's when you had no Stone though, and Jennings was hurt. He got hurt in that game, correct? So they were going to the 3rd stringer, I think, at that point. So I mean, no more victories. You still won the game. It's a 1 point. But if you're going to look at close victories, we can also go back and look at some of these top 7, 8 teams that had these.
Oh, great. Yeah.
You know what I mean? These 1 point, 2 point victories against teams that shouldn't even have been, in a building with them. So
yeah.
All right, let's just get on to this next one here. Number 4, Ohio State defeats number 3, Penn State, 20-13. Anyway, it was a huge Big Ten matchup with quarterback Will Howard delivering for the Bucs. I think this guy put it out on the table and delivered. This game had a little more meaning for Howard since, Penn State didn't even offer him anything, wouldn't even look in his direction when he was coming out of high school. And he even mentioned it in the week prior to this matchup. Was Will Howard the right? I think we figured out that Will Howard was the right quarterback for the Buckeyes after all, correct? Dino, biggest takeaways from this game. Drew Aller battled through this game, but was far away from 100%. Did this hurt his draft stock or kind of help him because he battled through like a warrior and they were in it to the end?
So first takeaway, that first drive by Penn State where he ran for almost 60% of their plays, I was like, okay, he might be feeling a little good. This might actually be a kind of a decent game. As for his draft stock, I think it's a little bit of both because yes, he put the team on his back while he's injured, sure. So he gets his kudos there, but then at the same time, his injury affected his stats. I mean, he went 60%. A lot of the zip was off his passes because he couldn't put the pressure on the leg. I think taking the knee brace off like he did in the second quarter was probably the worst mistake he could have made because that's when his passes started to kind of fall apart there. And then for being the offensive genius that their OC is, he looked lost in the sauce in that game. Tyler Warren didn't have a catch, I think, until the 3rd quarter. Only the running backs had catches for the first half. And then that interception by Davison Igbenason, I'm butchering his name, I think was the highlight of the entire game. But outside of that, it was a typical Big Ten kind of 3 yards in a cloud of dust, bash each other's heads in sort of game, which, I mean, as a Big Ten guy, I don't mind.
I mean, they had, I think the running backs, Allen and Singleton, had a combined, I want to say like maybe 5 or 6 receptions early, but it wasn't like in plays where you could kind of get them already moving and in space. It was just weird design plays where I felt like if your quarterback's hurt, they always say like a short pass to the running back or a tight end is just equivalent to a run, right? So try to get him getting the ball out quickly where he doesn't have to put a lot of weight on that leg. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't have to worry about, guys coming down the gauntlet and right off rip. It seemed odd. And then he had him running. Like, he looked better in the brace. I will admit that when the brace came off, you could tell he was way more nervous. He was afraid to like put any kind of planting on it. And
like my thing was, sorry, before you go to Boomer, I wish they would have let Pribula run. He had one rush. He's by far the better runner of the two. And even when you saw the zip start to fall on Aller, I wish they would have gave him a little bit more attempts passing because he only had one attempt too.
Well, I think he's come in twice already when Alice kind of got dinged up, and the results in the passing game weren't very.
Yeah, but could they have been any worse?
No, they couldn't have been any worse. So I think now the problem is though when teams see him coming in, they know he's a one-trick pony. It's like when OG comes in, okay, they're running the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know. I think he gave them the best chance to be in the game. I think the offensive coordinator could have schemed up something to kind of get that short and intermediate game popping quickly. And then maybe you could take, even if you threw an ugly duck, if he's wide open over the top, the ugly duck can still get caught. They were like, the weapons they have to pound the ball, I feel like they didn't utilize them. Like Warren could have been schemed up on some inside screens on a, you know what I mean? Like 2 weeks ago, you used the guy in every position possible on the planet. In a game where you needed to kind of use this guy in every position possible on the planet, you don't. I was a little confused there. Boomer, who does the outcome of this game affect more? Positive for Ryan Day with the win, kind of beat a big team in the Big Ten that he needed to beat. Obviously, he's got over the hump of Michigan, but or did it James Franklin kind of affect more with the loss? Like he needed this, I felt, to establish that they were legit.
And I quote my man downtown Nino Brown early season, James Franklin hasn't won a big time game since he's been at Penn State.
He still hasn't, and he won't.
I mean, and here's the other question. Did he win a big time game at Vanderbilt? So as far as I'm concerned, listen, we're watching people get fired for the dumbest reasons, right? Or whatever, right? You've never thought he was the guy. I never thought he's the guy. I think he needed this win to have a legit chance. Your quarterback goes 12 for 20, 50% of his completions were to Singleton for 54 yards. What kind of scheme are you doing against a guy who's, gonna back off you and not come at your quarterback a ton of times, but you're just kind of nickel and dime down the field? Like, give yourself a chance. Go deep once or twice. Just please. Yeah. So I'm with you. The only reason James Franklin is still there is because they don't have a better option yet.
I don't understand why. I put him in the same box as Marcus Freeman. I just don't understand why people like this coach so much. They really haven't won anything or even proven themselves. Like, has he developed any quarterbacks out of Penn State? Wait, Sean Clifford is now benched behind Malik Willis, who was told couldn't play in the NFL 2 seasons ago. Correct? You know what I'm saying? So what has he done? I just don't. If defensively, cool, yeah. But Penn State hasn't put out defensive studs since I was holding a bottle in my mouth, dude. I don't want to hear it. James Franklin is the reason why they have defensive studs.
Yeah. Speaking
of defensive studs, Abdul Carter. How good is this dude? 4 total tackles, 2 solo, 2 tackles for loss, 2. I feel like everything he touches, whenever he touches a player, it's a tackle for loss or it's a sack. This guy is just an absolute disruptor. Is he better than James Pierce?
Yes. Yes.
No.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I hope they both go to the Senior Bowl.
They won't go to the Senior Bowl. They don't need to go to the Senior Bowl.
But hey, Will McDonald didn't even go to the Senior Bowl.
No, he didn't. Oh, there was questions about
Michael Penix probably didn't.
Health-wise, Michael Penix did answer health questions. Those both guys had health concerns. These guys don't have health concerns, right? And Pierce doesn't even have to go out, right? He has another year where he can stay in.
Yeah, sure.
But I said earlier too when it came to Penn State, if James Franklin making him switch to this Micah Parsons role for Abdul Carter went south like it did with Harold Perkins at LSU, that's a fireable offense. An absolutely 100%. Fireable offense, right? Because now you're messing with this man's livelihood going on to the next level. You know, most people don't do that in your season. All right, you're the best at your position. We're going to move you. We're going to make it be a little bit different. This man is like the Energizer Bunny. Like, he wakes up every Saturday morning, chooses violence, puts that battery in his back, and all he sees is, I'm coming for that football, and whoever's holding that football, I am going to destroy.
Let me give you a name. And you know on a personal level, I've been trying to get this dude, from your fantasy team for 2 or 3 years, but Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter. Yeah. I mean, 6'3", 260 pounds, runs a 4.40.
He gives me that Dexter Lawrence type vibe too, man. He's just a dirt dog.
Dexter Lawrence a big old dog, though.
Yeah, he just, you know what I mean? Like, he's just a mean man. Like, and I
mean, looking at the tape, and he's starting to play well now. But is Abdul Carter better than Trayvon Walker, who was a number 1 pick?
See, now all right. Take the NFL side away. No, that's what I'm saying. If you look at Trayvon Walker's collegiate career, no. There's bias if you start mixing in the NFL, because then he didn't live up to the hype. But in college, no fucking way. That man was an absolute dog, bro.
You still can't tell me you're taking him over the number 2 pick.
What? Over Pierce, you saying?
No.
Oh, in that draft. No. That was
No.
That's why some people shouldn't be GMs, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I think so. I'm with D now. I
like Pierce. I just really like Abdul Carter.
Pierce gives you that next.
Here's my
I don't think Pierce has touched the next level for him yet.
Nick Bosa, right? Why do I like Max Crosby more than Nick Bosa?
Because Max Crosby plays every play. Bosa doesn't.
Does Abdul Carter take the time off? Because I don't think he does.
No,
but neither does James Pierce.
I don't think James Pierce screams curse to me.
Javon Curse?
That's a big.
He screams Javon Curse to me.
That's a big call right there.
And like I just said with Nino, I don't think Pierce is taking that next level.
If we're talking Curse, you're talking he's easily first pick then.
Freak. We're talking freak. This man,
before this season, he was slotted in on everybody's mock draft as the number 1 pick.
If you go back 4 weeks, he was slow to start the year. But these last 4 weeks, it's very hard for me to find a more dominant player on the defensive side of the ball outside of Dylan Stewart. Bro, that man, I haven't seen a freshman be that dominant in a very, very long. I mean, there's been some, but holy cow, he's so gosh darn dominant as a true freshman. All right, let's get on to this next one. Louisville walked into Memorial Stadium, chose violence on Saturday against number 11 Clemson. The Cardinals have been in a funk recently, but after a 33-21 victory, maybe they shake that funk off. This was a game that was dominated on the ground with 432 total combined rush yards. Dino, 56 attempts for Cade Klubnik for 4.1 yards per attempt. Easily his worst performance of the season. How is Ron English able to make Clemson's offense one-dimensional? And what was your biggest takeaway from this game?
So my biggest takeaway, I'll start there, is Clemson hasn't beat a ranked team this year. No. There are 2 games that they had against ranked teams. They lost them both. Kind of pretty handedly, too. Again, 56 attempts by Cade. You can't do that. Dabo should know better than to do that to his star quarterback. And as for Ron, the way he was able to do that is because he's seen it all. I mean, the man's been around forever. He was part of Purdue when they shut down Ohio State. Yes, his time at Eastern Michigan wasn't the best, but I mean, he's been a DC at some of the biggest schools, Michigan, Louisville twice, Purdue. safety in the SEC. So, I mean, he's kind of seen it all. He's been doing it for almost 40 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think he gets the credit he should as a defensive coordinator.
I don't think so. I think his game plan coming into that was absolutely A+. I mean, he just was dialed in. And bro, Maffa had a good game, and he just eliminated. He's like, we're gonna let you be. I'm gonna let you beat me on the ground because I know you can't sustain that to victory because it's gonna take too long.
Because there's no one behind Maffa either, though.
Exactly. It's a youth, freshmen and sophomores.
Cade was their backup or their second highest runner.
And when we always talk about that, when it's not a guy like that Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson, they shouldn't be leading that room or close to leading that room. Boomer, Cardinals running back Isaac Brown. Now, granted, I say this because they put two guys in the NFL last season, in Guerrero and Jawad Jordan, right? Isaac Brown, as a true freshman, has been on a tear this season. 106 attempts, 800 yards, 7 yards per carry. I know you love that. He's got 7 touchdowns. He's also got 26 receptions for $130 and a touchdown. Running back 39 at 24th class. Somebody messed up there. Where would you rank him now? And what was your biggest takeaway from this game?
Well, I'm going to give you the biggest takeaway for the season. If he rushes over 10 attempts, right, 11 plus, they've won a game. Every time he hasn't, they've lost.
Okay.
Right? So ran for 10 for 117. That's 11.7 yards a carry, ladies and gentlemen, against SMU, who they lost to by a touchdown. Here's the big one. Losing 52-45, averaging 6.2 yards a carry on 9 rushes against Miami.
Nine rushes.
9. Listen, you need to give my guy the rock, apparently. We talked about, we had a guy that we used to love coming out of college or in college. We feel like he never got enough love at the running position, and Sean Tucker. And now he's balling with the Bucks. 5'9", 200 pounds.
Speed.
Obviously can catch the ball. Is Isaac Bruce a top 4 guy in this running back class? Especially the way they like to use the running backs? My answer is yes.
I love it.
I have the number 4 for me.
I mean, I don't trust any of these rankings that they have. I feel like they just boop, close your eyes.
Big names. Oh, he must be good.
It doesn't matter who he plays. He's balled out against Boston College. Good defense.
Every single time he touches the ball, there's a chance that this dude can make a house call.
Agreed.
A lot of his touchdowns are on double-digit yard runs or receptions. Like there's not many of them are 1 or 2 yard runs for touchdowns. It's always big bursts. They also have Duke Watson. Me and Dino are big on Duke Watson as a freshman who's had a decent season as a freshman. They're set up good. That running back room with Watson and Brown are set up good. I think Isaac Brown is definitely a top 10 back in this class because I think he brings everything that the NFL is looking for at that position. The speed.
Is he a little mix? I'm going to give you 2 running backs together. Is he a little bit of Mostert and A-Chain?
I feel like he's a little bit bigger than both of those guys, upper body wise. If you look at him as a freshman, he's he's pretty diesel for but yeah, I don't know if he has A-Chain speed. A-Chain's got some dumb speed.
I think he's more like a Doug Martin.
Okay, I think he's better than Doug Martin.
Oh, I think he's got higher potential, but like his running style and his game reminds me of Doug Martin, or maybe a little bit of Eckler too. Now that I think about it.
I think he could end up being someone like a Shady McCoy. He's shifty enough. He's not afraid of contact, right? McCoy wasn't afraid of contact. He was just shifty enough where he could avoid it. And anytime McCoy got the ball, there was a chance this dude was going for, big play McGee. So we'll have to wait and see. You got 3 more seasons, but I think this kid is the real deal and the name that we need to watch out for. All right. Big topic here. Number 13, Indiana. Got their quarterback, Curtis Rourke, back versus Michigan State, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Between Rourke's 4 touchdown performance and a damn near perfect game plan by Hoosiers DC, Brian Haynes, that held the Spartans to negative 36 yards rushing as a whole. Indiana was able to defeat Michigan State 47-10. Boomer. The Hoosiers defense had 15 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, and 2 interceptions, led by this man has been balling all season. Defensive line, Mikel Kamara, 4.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks. If you take away the 17-yard Nick Marsh touchdown, which was absolutely amazing, by the way, the catch, the Hoosiers were damn near flawless defensively. Talk to me about this defense and what Kurt Cignetti and Haynes have been able to do in year one.
You know, the crazy thing is, we talked about Cignetti leaving, and like, did he make the right move? Because I mean, he been balling at JMU, and then for him, you're like, we didn't know if it was the right move. Obviously, he took guys with him and this and that. Listen, it was the right move. Cignetti's the real deal. He's proven that he's the real deal. If he's not in a top 3 coach of the year, conversation as well. I mean, nobody. I didn't see it coming. But he wasn't getting the recognition he deserved at JMU. He obviously deserves it here now. And bringing Haynes along in, I think that they're the real deal. I mean, obviously, they're proving a lot of people wrong. And if you're in the Big Ten, do you really want to play them right now?
No. And I said something to Dino in the green room. If they get Juju Lewis to decommit from USC and go there and beat out Colorado and be that guy for the future, we also like Tavion Jackson as who came in and played well for Curtis Walk in a couple games. Was it one game? 1.5 games.
Yeah, 1.5. Yep.
But man, now you're looking at not only have you turned the program around in year one, now you're getting a 5-star recruit, top 5 quarterback in the class. You pulled him away from the SEC. You pulled him away from, the Pac-12, Big 12. You pulled him away from everybody. Who would have thought that a 5-star QB would be going at
Juju's
Indiana?
Just going to be like, you're going to come with me. You're going to come with me.
That's what I'm saying. Now you're going from, being nowhere to being a top 10 football team, top 10 recruiting, because he's just going to take them. Well, they're all going to come because they know they're going to get
everyone that committed to USC with him is going to follow.
There's going to be a chance that you could play year one.
Yep.
And all those players that left JMU can give you listen, we left because of this guy.
Right. This is what he does. I win games. That's what he says, bro. Look me up. Google me. I win games. That's what he says multiple times.
Bro.
Google me. I win. What else do you say to that stuff? I love the confidence. I love the swagger. I love the outcome and what he's doing. And it's old school, knock 'em, rock 'em, sock 'em, snot-nosed football on defense, man. He came in on offense, he brought in a transfer, old man quarterback, right? He brought in a guy that speaking of Vanderbilt, Justice Ellison was on Vanderbilt last year, did decent there. That kind of threw him away, went to Indiana, boom. Elijah Surratt, transfer again at wide receiver, had a great season last year, don't get me wrong. But all transfers, that's a lot to make gel and work and be successful, as well as a new coach in year one of the program, man. It's insane what they're doing. I love it. Dino, Curtis freaking Rock. We've all been, a fan of him. Dude is nails, bro. Imagine if the 2 injuries didn't happen, right? And they were major injuries. He missed a lot of time, and he was balling.
Mm-hmm.
Where would he be right now? And is he a top 5 quarterback in this class?
Had he not missed the name, the games, he would probably take Dylan Gabriel's spot for me on my Heisman ballot. I
love it.
He turned a basketball school into a top 10 football school.
Yes.
Solely, I mean,
on his back, on defense, his back. I'm with you.
Yeah. And as for the guys who for sure would be coming out, I'd put him at number 4.
He's crept his way into my top 5. As much as it hurts me to say it, you have to. He's my Shane Falco, baby.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
He's my Shane Falco, right? Comes in, him and Diego. Those are my Shane Falcos in this class. Everybody counts him out. He's a replacement. He's just coming in one more season, whatever. Nah, these guys got game.
A lot of people too forget when he was at Ohio, he wasn't no slouch at Ohio either. He was putting up numbers there too.
Bro, the year he got hurt was that not last season because he got hurt in the first game.
Yeah, he had 3,325 yards and only 4 picks.
Top 10 quarterback at that time. He was doing it. I know Ohio. It was the wrong Ohio, but I'm sorry, the kid was a dog. And they had Saban Guerrero at running back. They were really good but nobody was talking about them. It was hard for them to win games, but they were in all these games. Now look at Ohio. Actually, starting to turn that page a little bit, it seems like, this season. But yeah, I think Curtis Rourke is definitely a top 5 quarterback in this class. We'll see what happens. A couple games left. But yo, man, if they get a long run, this kid gets that prime time and starts to produce.
A home game in a playoff?
That's what I mean. He puts up 303 touchdowns in a playoff game? Like,
yeah.
Watch
in Indiana Stadium, we saw on College Game Day, they packed that place, and it's pretty loud. So I wouldn't want to play there.
I know Juju's going to be there for the game against Michigan this week. That speaks volumes, bro.
Yeah.
Volumes. So, all right. This last one, I need to get your opinion here. I think this man I love him. I just love his swagger. I love how he reminds me of Boom a little bit. They kind of look similar if you put the hat on with the brim straight like they do, right? All right. USF defeated Florida Atlantic. I know people are like, really? This is how we're going to close out the show? I got it. I just have to talk about it. 44-21 on a Friday night, led by backup quarterback Bryce Archie, in for Byron Brown, who was out with an injury, okay? The story was after the game, when USF head coach Alec Golish and FAU head coach Tom Herman exchanged words, daps, pounds, whatever you want to call it. Golish didn't forget last season's 56-14 loss, where Herman ran up the score for 35 straight points in the second half. D, now, talk to me about Golish. Is he making himself the new Young Bullen? Because if he is, I'm all in.
Yeah, I mean, so before I get to Golish, I got to throw Tom Herman under the bus. I mean, he's kind of – this ain't Houston. You don't have those dogs like – you don't have Ed Oliver on your defensive line where he backs up everything. And, I mean, he doesn't have the swag that Lane had at FAU. Like, it just screams fake to me. But as for Golish, I love it if that's the arc he's going for. I mean, college football kind of needs that next young guy to kind of spice it up. And if it takes getting your ass beat the year before to light that fire under you, I mean, I'm all for it. I think Alex Golish is – I mean, we saw what he did for Tennessee last year and where Tennessee is now without him. So I'm all for it.
He's the Ryan Grubb to Tennessee's success.
I want him to come out next week, all black, kind of like Miami 13, Miami Heat. Yeah.
I'm with it. Like I love I love what he brings. Like I don't give a shit. I'll be in every game that you're in. Like he feels like he walks to that stadium and they have a fighting chance every single time. He thinks he can coach just as good as the guy who's been doing it for 25 years or the guy that's been doing it for 5. Yeah, I think he's an offensive guru, bro. I think
100%.
He's got, he knows how. Bro, look at what they're doing. Every single week, it seems like there's a different running back in that scheme that's going off. Early in the year, they had one gentleman that was carrying it for 3 weeks. Then Naquan Wright's back now, having picking up where he left off last season. But
I mean, they have consistency at quarterback. It's a completely different season.
Agreed. He's been hurt for multiple games this year. And we had to come out. So I'm with it. They button it up on defense next year. And I think USF could be a team we're talking about where people were kind of talking about UCF this year, where we thought they were going to be a little bit better. I didn't believe in, the big man at quarterback, and they obviously
playing quarterback.
They don't believe in him either. That's why he's not at Arkansas. Go Hogs. I think he took Go Hogs a little bit too far, but that's neither here nor there. Boomer, can the Bulls go bowling this season?
Listen, I think they win 2 of the next 3. Which puts them at 6-4 right now, or they'll be 6-5. So I mean that puts them in the spot. The question is, can Navy's down right now? Navy's hurt.
Yeah.
So if they beat Navy, they're running the table because I don't see them losing Charlotte, and I definitely don't losing Tulsa. So I'd love to see it. I'd love to see him go on a run, like this. So.
That's what I'm saying. Like you spark the fire for the guy who doesn't need you to spark the fire for. The guy who's already wiry and full of energy. You just stuff the bread.
It would definitely help out recruiting too. I mean, who don't want to go to Florida? So,
well, think about all these guys. There's so much talent in Florida. That's like number 3 when it comes, maybe 3 or 4, right? It goes Georgia, Texas, Georgia, Cali. Then pretty much, Florida. So, but they're the bottom, right, of the schools in Florida, of the main ones. They're above FIU and FAU and FIU, I believe. You know what I'm saying? But like Miami, Florida State. Well, maybe not Florida State for too much longer, but but they're below those teams. So it's like a lot of 3-4 stars in that that state might not have a spot for them at Florida State. Where hey, listen, I'm an offensive guy. You like offense? You see what we're doing? We're going bowling. Year 2 over here. I'm bringing this high-powered offense. Come on down, and they're winning games. Who knows? Maybe USF could be a team. In a year or two. They're right there. They're right on the cusp. Just like Nevada. I think Nevada's right there on the cusp too to turn in that page. And the coach kind of said it this week. Like, give me 2 years and we'll beat that team by 25.
That's Jade Norvell, or that's Norvell, right?
No, not Norvell. At Nevada. No, is it Norvell at
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
From
it?
Colorado State?
Yeah. It is. Oh, no, Jeff Choate.
Oh, Choate took over, right?
Choate took over for Nevada. Yeah. So, and he said it in his press conference. He's like, he's kind of like no moral victory type deal, but, we're building something sustainable. We're building something that everybody's buying into. You can see the USF players are doing that with Golish and the system and what they're building out in USF. 3 years ago, there was people leaving left and right out of that school. I'm not hearing people leaving left and right. You hear people actually wanting to go there instead of leaving there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I love it. This is a good show.
Question.
One
more hot question for you.
Go ahead.
Does T-Bow out west keep his job after the season? Lincoln Riley.
No, bro. The losses are coming out of whack now. We just keep piling up.
He's got more losses at USC than he ever did at Oklahoma.
See, they played Nebraska, UCLA, and then Notre Dame.
UCLA just beat Nebraska. There's a chance one of those teams could beat USC.
If not
I
both.
think all three.
Right, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
I think all three of them could.
I feel like that locker room is cashed out.
So that would put them at what would their record be then?
USC right now has. Let me see.
4. So they're 4-5 right now. So that would put them at 4-8. I think
They're
you
going
got
to
to
lose to Notre Dame. They're losing to Notre Dame.
I
think Dylan Raiola's hit the freshman wall. It's been 2 weeks of like very poor Dylan Raiola play.
But the defense been decent.
Right. No, you're right.
if they don't go to a bowl, you got to send them packing.
Oh yeah, but it's a $90 million buyout.
USC's probably got one single donor that will be like, here you go.
Yeah, Snoop.
Yeah.
So 6 and 7 would get them in a bowl game. 6 and 7 is going to make him keep his job? I don't think so. Because then they're going to be like, okay, because right away in my head I go, year one, I don't want to hear about the
Maryland and Minnesota alone.
I don't want to hear about the Big Ten. All I want to hear about is year one outside of Caleb Williams, and you had a losing record.
I still say this. He hasn't developed a quarterback yet.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's waiting for the guy behind him that transferred in to come take over Miller Moss's job. And Miller Moss was already there for 3 years. Before, you know what I mean? It's come on, man. We already been down this road. We know the deal with him. I don't think he survives. I'll tell you what, my guy Billy Napier is still freaking there. Still there. Everybody told me week 5 he'd be gone.
So what's the official word for DJ? Have they said what happened to him?
They said this morning that it's not as bad as they expected, and there's no surgery required.
He's still probably out of the season, I would
say. Yeah,
they haven't ruled him out for the season though, because the red shirt's already gone. He's already played 6 games.
Oh yeah. I don't think you risk it. I don't think you risk it.
They were in that game.
Oh, they were 100%.
6 weeks ago, everybody would have told me I was crazy to say that Florida.
Well, I mean, Carson Beck's finally looking like Timmy from South Park with the way he's playing. So
the whole what happens when you start to take all the hogs in the backfield away and it's pieced together.
Okay, so question. I saw the video, Nate Frazier getting ripped. What was that about? Just him celebrating? or because I watching the video, the celebration didn't look like it
He
warranted
got benched
anything.
after that.
No, yeah, but I mean, like watching the video, it didn't look like it warranted that ass ripping he got. But
I think he missed the pass pro on a set earlier than that,
ah,
where I kind of felt like he got yapped at a little bit by the coaching staff. And for you to go and celebrate after kind of almost getting Carson Beck destroyed,
yeah. See, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
that's
part.
probably not the best way to handle it. You know what I mean? So I think he's also a freshman. You can't be doing that shit, dude. You know what I mean? You got to earn those stripes.
Yeah.
You know? Kirby got enough shit going on, but he don't need freshmen, celebrating prematurely. So he's trying to keep things,
He's trying to get the culture better, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Georgia has a culture problem, Boomer.
Yeah, they got a culture. It's real cold and steely. All right, fellas. It's been an absolute wonderful, wonderful show. Before we close it out, give me the game that you're looking for the most this week.
Ooh, let me look something up then.
He says, let me look something up then.
Top of my head.
I called this weeks and weeks and weeks ago, right? And even though they've been down, Oklahoma upsets Missouri.
I don't think that's a far-fetched thing. I'm going to give you two games that I think are on upset alert. It hurts my heart to say both of these games. But I truly believe that Texas is on an upset alert. Okay. If Lagway plays, I think they're on upset alert.
I think it's a blowout.
If Lagway doesn't play,
yeah,
they're not on upset alert. You ready for this one? Miami. Georgia Tech. You're going into Georgia Tech.
Is Haynes finally healthy?
I think he's playing. He brings that when he plays, man. That they are a totally different beast. You know how I feel about Jamal Haynes. I think he's an absolute machine. Yeah, I love it. North Texas is my other team.
Chandler Morris does not get a lot of love like he should.
Yo, Army was able to win without Daly, right? Because they end up turning to Uda, and he took over. They're not saying that Daly's going to play this week either. Coach Connor was very vague, bro, when they asked him about it. North Texas is – watch out, bro. If it's no Bryson Daly, I think Army could be on upset alert.
Yeah. All right, I got one.
Go ahead.
BYU, Utah.
Dude, it's the Holy War is always friggin' phenomenal,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, you're trying to say that Isaac Wilson gets
It's one of those rivalry games.
In the Holy
you
War?
know Utah's going to play up for it. It's at home
They
against
got no
a top
money.
10
Parks,
team.
though. He's out for the year, too. It's Singer, and that's it.
I understand, but I mean, it's a rivalry
game, dude.
Yeah.
You're always going to play up. And then that Vandy, South Carolina game.
Yeah.
I want to see some more Diego magic.
I will tell you this. I mean, we ain't talking about it, but Georgia playing at Ole Miss, bro. I don't care who you are. Playing Ole Miss at Ole Miss is not easy.
Yeah.
Especially because they play, when Ole Miss is up offensively.
I feel like we've kind of just bypassed it, but this is going to be the last game I bring up real quick before we close it out. Everything that we want the game to be what it's worth, all the marbles, what it means for a team, teams that are kind of not figuring it out, kind of need this game, coaches that are kind of with their backs against. How the fuck are we not talking about Alabama LSU?
Yeah.
Like, this has got to be. It's for whoever loses is over. It's done.
Yeah, they're done.
It's all over for whoever loses this game. If it's Alabama, let the fireworks go off because
that's the same with the Georgia Ole Miss.
Right.
You lose that one, you're done
You're
too.
out. So it's like, but if the ball loses another one, I get to put my fucking feet up and say that's 3. I told you motherfuckers were losing 3 games at least this year, but he told me I was nuts and Bama was going to be right back in the swing of it.
I agreed with you. We talked about this. I thought I literally too many players.
Mm-hmm.
I also said
honestly, it could have been 2 more.
Dude, this close. So
South Carolina should have won that game. I mean, it is what it is.
I stated something in the preseason. Dean now agreed with me. KT agreed with me. Boomer agreed with me. This is going to be the most off-chalk college football season ever. And by golly, it has been wonderful to watch. 10 weeks of straight chaos so far.
All right.
Go ahead.
On top of that, or to add on to that, is this season better than 07?
Do like 6 number 2 teams fell that year.
Yeah.
Every other week. Every week.
Where Rutgers was number 1 at one point.
I would say
it has the ability to be just as good.
It does, yeah.
Because we still have 3 weeks where everything could still change. Like, I don't understand how Penn State doesn't like the loss. Like every other team that lost that close doesn't fall. You know what I mean? It's just like it's so weird. Miami finally makes it into the top 5 this week, right? But they never were getting the love at the ACC and all that. It's just wild. Indiana's in the top 10. Like Iowa State's in the top 15. Like it's really crazy. We've seen the services be both ranked at one point. Army's still ranked. It's an insane season, and I love it. And there's 3 more weeks of regular season where it all could change from week to week. And I said to you before, there was a chance that Penn State had lost. But there was a chance that Penn State won out, Oregon won out, and Indiana won out, that Oregon wouldn't have had the opportunity to even play in a Big 12 championship being undefeated.
Yeah. Could you imagine the number 1 team not playing in?
Right. The number 1 team in the nation would not have been able to play in the Big 10 championship.
Yeah.
And so they would have, I don't even know how that seeding would have went. That shit would have been all messed up.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't know what to do there.
It would have been the new wrinkle for everyone to bitch about.
I was really hoping for Navy and Army to go undefeated and have to play each other back-to-back weeks.
Me too.
Yeah, that would have been the ultimate off chalk, right? All right, gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure being with both of you guys on this show. We'll have to run it back soon and do it again. KT out there grinding with the CFB college basketball. I'm Nino Brown. That's Dino. That's Boomer. We are Overreaction Mondays.
Yes, sir. Today I am the governor of college football. Yes, sir. The mayor of college football, a.k.a. Downtown Nino Brown.